This will be the 13th edition of the modern version of the Tour of Britain, a race that was reincarnated back in 2004 and now holds a firm place on the international calendar. Not only is Ardale preparation for the forthcoming World Championships in October, but also a prestigious race in its own right, with huge crowds to rival that of any Grand Tour at the side of the road, day after day. As ever, this year's race is 8 days long and starts way up north in Scotland in Glasgow. Then we have a stage that weaves itself through northern England, starting in Carlisle, finishing in Kendal through the heart of the Lake District. Then stage 3 is south of Manchester, finishing in the beautiful Tatton Park. Then the Welsh stage on stage 4 cuts right through the centre of Wales, finishing in both Wales. Then stage 5 actually finishes in Bath, not too far from the GCN offices. And that's the stage that we certainly hope to see many of you out and about. Then stage 6, well, that sees the only summit finish of the whole race. That's in Devon, and that finishes up the famous Hay Tor. Then stage 7 in Bristol is an interesting one, because not only will the riders face a road stage, a circuit race in fact, they'll also face an individual time trial before the big transfer across to the city of London and the traditional circuit finish. So where can we expect the sprinters to shine and for the general classification to form? Well, stage 1, an undulating affair with 3 categorised climbs, should end up in a bunch sprint. But stages 2, 3 and 4, things already start to get very lumpy indeed. And the rolling, undulating, hilly terrain should whittle down the bunch. And the most significant climb comes on stage 3, up the Cat and Fiddle in the heart of the Peak District. A climb I know very well indeed from my training days. Stage 5 to Bath is slightly less brutal, but still does have 3 second category climbs, but should provide an opportunity for the sprinters to have their day. Then we move on into Devon and stage 6, and this is where the general classification should really start to form. We'll have a fantastic showdown on Hay Tor. If you think back to 2013, this is where Simon Yates, then riding for the under-23 GB team, took his first major victory. The climb itself is 6 kilometres long with a 6% average gradient, but it's not just the climb, because near the top the roads become extremely exposed, so if the wind is blowing, that could also play a part as well. Stage 7A is the 15-kilometre individual time trial on a primarily flat circuit, as you can see here, although there is a bit of a drag up to the finish line. Now, this circuit should provide an opportunity for some of the bigger, more powerful riders to potentially claw back some time on the general classification. And in fact, this same circuit is used in the afternoon circuit race and will be covered on 6 occasions, and I think should provide a fair bit of drama in relation to the general classification. The race will then transfer to London for 16 laps of a 6.2 kilometre, primarily flat circuit, showcasing some of the best sights of the capital, and should be one definitely for the sprinters. So who should we be looking out for to win this year's race? Well, that is a very good question, because the Tour of Britain is notoriously unpredictable for 2 reasons. The terrain, first off, and also because the teams only have 6 riders, making defending a leader's jersey very difficult indeed. Some of the names to conjure with from a general classification perspective include Steve Cummings of Dimension Data, who without a shadow of a doubt is having his finest season to date. Tom DUMOULIN of GIANT-ALPECIN, who took 2 stages of this year's Tour de France and a silver medal at the Olympic time trial. We've also got Liège-Bastogne-Liège winner and a stage winner at last year's Tour of Britain, Wout Poels from Team Sky, and ETIXX-QUICKSTEP are bringing their climber Dan Martin, who'll certainly revel on the stage to Hay Tor. The race has some real top-notch sprinters, and topping the bill is Dimension Data's Mark Cavendish. Also there is German champion Andre Greipel of Lotto Soudal. Also Dutch road champion from Lotto NL Jumbo, Dylan Groenewegen. Italian national champion Giacomo Nizzolo from Trek Segafredo. And believe it or not, British road champion Adam Blythe, who's riding for the GB team. Not to mention ELIA VIVIANI of Team Sky, who's fresh from success at the Olympics in the Omnium. The Tour of Britain this year will also be a lap of honour for 2013 winner Sir Bradley Wiggins, who of course retires at the end of this year. So all in all, it should be an absolutely fantastic race. Now, we mentioned earlier on that Mark Cavendish is riding. Well, Dan actually asked Cav for his 5 sprint tips at the start of the year, and you can watch that video by clicking just up here. Now, there's another big race going on at the same time, of course, and that is the Vuelta a España. And if you click down here, you can find our playlist. And to subscribe to GCN, you can click on the globe, but don't forget, if you're around, come and see us on stage 5 on Thursday in Bath.